Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at 9 games here on Wednesday night for you guys. In this one, we're taking a look at the C's and the Cavs. We also have another game video up with my Knicks taking on the Nets, looking to pick on those Brooklyn Nets some more. We are. Also have our player props up for you that we're looking to continue to stay hot on those with you for this week as well. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page and follow along with us all season long and into the playoffs as well. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out all of our great written content there and use that odds finder tool we have up there. Make sure you're shopping those lines, getting the best odds available to you from all those U.S. sports books out there this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this 9-game slate and then jump into our game, C's and Cavs.
Yeah, 9 games here on March 1st as we head down the stretch. We got Suns with KD expected to debut -10 at Charlotte. No LaMelo from the Hornets. The Bulls are -6 at the Pistons. Sixers -2 at Heat. Immediate rematch there. The other game we break down, Nets are +7.5 at the Knicks. These Cavs +5 at the Celtics. Low total of 218. Grizz -10 at Rockets. Bucks on a back-to-back. They're -7.5 at home against Orlando. Lakers on a back-to-back in a pick'em at the Thunder. Still no word on SGA, whether he will play. Of course, LeBron is out. And then the Pelicans in a pick'em at Portland. Another team on a back-to-back here. So, I mean, the Celtics coming off a loss at the Knicks where they really just shot an unbelievable, just could not make an unbelievable amount of open threes. That's the biggest takeaway, right? Is that the Knicks did not, like we were saying in the video, we expected some positive regression in terms of them giving up good looks from three, and it just didn't come. And they're still elite in terms of limiting opponents' three-point percentage, and we'll talk about that in the Nets video, but how much of that is just Boston saying, okay, we trust our system. We're getting the looks. And they had a few pushes there to get back in that game. Couldn't quite pull it off. But now they face Cleveland, which is a real packet in defense that has surprisingly been inefficient guarding the three-point line all year. I mean, you look at their road home stuff, and it's pretty evident. I mean, they're 9-17 on the road on the year, 2-10 as road dogs. And they're actually pretty bad guarding the three-point line even at home in terms of percentage. 18th versus 25th on the road. Second to last in their last 3 here, giving up 46%. And if you look at the sample size of 8 games, they do give up the fewest three-point attempts and one of the fewest makes, but again, 5th highest percentage. So to me, that reads like if you're a team that they'll run you off the line, they want to run you into their rim protectors. But if you're a team that can make the extra pass, that can penetrate and kick and keep it moving, which is the Celtics' MO 100%, you can get really good looks against Cleveland. You can knock down a high percentage. I don't need to talk about how Boston is, the best three-point shooting team in the league when they get it going and how much that is correlated to their success. So these teams played 2 overtime games early in the season. I think you can kind of just like punt those out the window in terms of just not looking like the same team. I mean, the first game, Karis LeVert matched Donnie Mitchell with 41 points, if you remember, in Boston for an overtime win. The last 6, by the way, Karis LeVert under 4 points per game with 23 minutes. He's just a non-factor. Can't stay in the rotation for the Cavs. Second meeting, Boston struggled a little bit from 3, but got 27 free throw attempts. Something to look at there. Donnie Mitchell regressed a little bit from that 41 points and shot 40% from the field. And so, I mean, Donnie, last 8 road games, not particularly impressive, 23 points per game with a 111 rating. And to me, if he's not cooking, I mean, I don't necessarily trust Darius Garland to completely carry this offense, and the Cavs are just not a good offensive team when they don't have those guys cooking. Kevin Love no longer on the squad. Karis LeVert no longer a member of the rotation, like I said. So I know this was the same take against the Knicks, and the Celtics did not come through, but I trust their depth. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon is playing out of his mind. He's the 6th man of the year, and at home, they're just going to be primed to bounce back here. 13-2 straight up at home since they lost 4 in December. So it's just a question for me of, do you think they can cover 5 points? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to win this game.
Wow, yeah. Love the confidence. I hold that same level of confidence about my Knicks that we'll talk about in that other game video. So, maybe you want to proceed with caution based on those factors. But I don't know as much. I believe in the Cavs a bit more than you right now, just because I think when you look at the games that they've lost, I mean, I know they lost 3 in a row there. Some pretty tough games though. Right before the break versus the Sixers, and then coming out of the break versus the Nuggets, who were they were favored against at home, which was hilarious. And then the Hawks as well, who I guess are really, really good again on offense at least. And then, yeah, they beat a Raptors team that they should beat, and it's a little bit, sloppy there. So, I mean, if you look at the teams they beat versus who they don't beat, it does seem like those, they're not matching up with the conference, the top of the conference on either side quite as well, and playing against those teams above 500 like they were at the very beginning of the season when they picked up these 2 dubs against the Celtics at home. I kind of, or not at home. One of them was in Boston, obviously, that very early in the season, but that was sort of their coming out party. Either way, this one, I kind of look at some at the over, to be honest. I mean, it's a very low total. I understand that the Cavs are a good sort of pack it in, play solid defense kind of team. But I think the way that these two teams are playing as of, well, at least even when when the Cavs are playing on the road, I should say more specifically, you just see them going over a bit more. The games that have been going over in their last roughly like 10 games, 8 games or so, actually just in their last 7, hitting 5 overs in their last 7, just 2 games on the road, but both those going over, and definitely, most of these games going over the 219.5 total that we see here between these two teams. I mean, it's a little bit surprising if you're basing anything on how they played the first 2 games of this season. Both those totals went well over 219.5. Even the game that they played in November in Cleveland, which not where this game is, and where Cleveland's much better on defense. When they played this game in Cleveland, even it was still 227. The pace was still at like 97. And when you look at the game on the road in Boston for Cleveland, that game reached that 255 total and had a pace of 98.2, which is fast for Cleveland for sure, when they are used to playing closer to 96 for most of the time in the season, especially at home as well, like we talk about consistently. And yeah, the road splits for them, I think it is, to your point, they're going to give up threes if you take them. But guys, they do seem to close out well, but that's just not, it doesn't matter when you're playing against the Celtics and the way that they've been, passing the ball around the perimeter and really getting all those solid amount of threes on assisted 3-pointers as well. So it's not like they just need to come up and pull. Jaylen Brown, you still really haven't mentioned him. I think he was big in their loss to the Knicks. I mean, even if he is sometimes, a black hole and hard to play off of because he plays a lot of bully ball, I still think he's wildly important as that next guy. If Tatum doesn't have it the way he didn't have it against the Knicks, there's almost just like you have too many 3-point shooters. So the odds are that somebody's got to be hitting, which is helpful for the Celtics when they, are hitting threes like they are this season. Even when certain guys like Tatum might be off from deep, they have another guy, and Brown is just another guy that can get his own bucket that you need in those games where they couldn't even score 100 against the Knicks, who obviously still actually have been a lot better on defense, especially since Mitchell Robinson came back. But either way, I think this is a good opportunity for points on both sides. I know Jaylen Brown helps out the defense a bit, but I think the offense is going to be a bit more, believe in the Cavs on the road where they do tend to go over way more. And this total is just way too low for me, which I understand why people think that, but I'm just on the opposite side of that.
Yeah, you're right. I did not mention Jaylen Brown, and while I think he definitely was missed against the Knicks, I think he's more important in this matchup because you have to operate in the mid-range areas against the Cavs. And I think he will provide a big spark for the Celtics offense that, like you said, just sputtered to a halt at the Knicks. I mean, they're over in 6 of their last 8 at home, scoring 119, shooting 41% from deep and hitting 19 threes. So that makes me very interested in the over as well, as it drops another point here. I think you got a good angle there. 20-10 to the over at home are the Celtics, and the Cavs. I mean, their offense struggles a little, 5 points per game fewer on the road, which is why I lean towards Celtics winning. But their defensive rating is also 7 points higher. And yeah, just the overwhelming depth of the Celtics, I think, will lead to enough points here. I will say again, 17-4 in their last 21 at home with Marcus Smart. They just snapped their streak with him a 10-game win streak at the Knicks, but they've just been extremely, put together at home when they have their leader. And I think they win this game for sure.
No, that's fair. I feel way more comfortable about that over than I do. I think it's a decent sized spread. I mean, the Celtics probably should be that much better of a team at home. The last time we saw them, it just looks so gross that I think it's difficult for me to believe in it. But you are right to get ahead of that anyway. And I feel really, really good about that over. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Check out those other couple videos we have for you on this 9-game slate tonight. And until we see you next, happy betting.